Welcome to A Well-Designed Business with your host, LuAnn. LuAnn has a lifetime of experience building a multi-million-dollar business with her husband and cousin, and she knows the challenges you face in your interior design business. LuAnn brings you real-life answers to your most pressing problems, as well as practical strategies to explode your interior design business. So, let's get to the business of interior design.
Hi, welcome to another episode of A Well-Designed Business. On the show today, I have Manuella Moreira. Manuella is an award-winning interior designer who specializes in residential and commercial interiors. While completing her studies at the New York School of Interior Design, she joined a well-known design firm in Connecticut, where she expanded her knowledge on all phases of the design process. One of her projects with the firm was to collaborate with the senior designer and renovate a well-known historical home in Ridgefield, Connecticut, which was then featured in Fairfield County Home Magazine's Amazing Transformations issue. Manuella has joined since then the Ethan Allen Company in 2013. She has been repeatedly recognized for her efforts. In 2015 and 2016, she was the recipient of multiple awards, including Rising Star, Gold Spirit Award, and Design Excellence. Manuella has also been featured in Designer Today's magazine, and she was named one of the top 20 interior designers in New York City by LuxPad. So give me just a moment to tell you about our sponsor, and I will be right back to introduce you to Manuella. My great thanks to my DOMA Studio, our podcast sponsor. What is my DOMA Studio? Well, you know, as busy interior designers, that running your own design firm isn't just about designing. That's what we talk about here all the time, right? There's managing contracts, clients, payments, products, and a million other things that you have to have locked down. It is challenging, but you must run your firm efficiently so you can do the fun, creative things you enjoy so much. And that's where my DOMA Studio comes in. I'd like to invite you to try My DOMA Studio today. Go to mydomastudio.com/a-well-designed-business. Designers around the world are using My DOMA Studio. What about you? Let My DOMA Studio help you organize the business side and spend more time on the designing side of your firm. I'd also like to share with you that Vin, Bill, and myself are so impressed with My DOMA Studio that we have invested in this company. So see for yourself what My DOMA Studio can do for your interior design business. And if you visit using the link mydomastudio.com/a-well-designed-business, you will receive a special offer just for you as listeners of the podcast. Hey, Manuella, thank you so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm giggling already. It's so much fun for me when I interview people that I already know.
I know. It's great. We finally got to meet recently, so that was great.
Exactly. So background story, if you're new to the show, Manuella is one of my longtime early adopter listeners to the show. By the way, how did you find the show? I don't think I ever asked you that before.
So way back in the day, I was just searching for interior design podcasts, and I came across yours, and I loved your interviews, and of course I listened to each and every one since then, and a couple of them, I listened to a couple times, but it was great.
Well, it's funny because I guess you probably started interacting with me on Instagram and commenting on the different shows here and there. But then the pivotal moment, which really cemented our BFF-ness, was one morning I was at my dining room table working, and it was probably about 7:30 in the morning. And I'm at the table working, and all of a sudden I see this private message, direct message on Instagram or Facebook. I don't remember which one it was. And I barely know how to use that stuff. I mean, I'm getting much better at it now, but I was sort of like, I think it was Instagram, because Facebook private messaging I've known for a while, but Instagram back then, we're going back to last summer. I was like, wait, what's this? How does this work? Is somebody talking to me? And I'm like, and I read it. It says, "Hi, LuAnn, this is Manuella. I'm a listener of your podcast, and I think you have a show up that hasn't been edited." And I
Yeah, what was funny was, so, I mean, I download it usually very early and I listen to it, as I'm getting ready in the morning for my day. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing it and I'm like, well, maybe she's doing like a behind the scenes thing, And then I heard something and I was like, nope. So then that's when I reached out to you right away. So.
Oh my God. You got to see me. I'm like, it's one of these where you stand up, you run around in a circle, you come back, you're like, what am I going to do? What's on there?
I know.
Fortunately, it wasn't so awful. Some of the off-air conversation, I should have learned my lesson.
It wasn't awful, but it was actually really funny. It was a great start to my day. So.
Oh my God, that was just I was hysterical. And then of course, it's so early in the morning, and my editor did the right job. It was my podcast consultant, who is just amazing and always does a fabulous job. But their team had just picked up the wrong show out of our Dropbox. So my editor puts in the final cut, and the raw track is always there. And it was just a simple mistake. They picked up the wrong track. But the funny thing is to this day, anybody out there, this was the show with Gail Davis, who has also since then become a good friend of mine. But anybody who downloaded it with the unedited version for all of time, that's the version you have.
Yep. Blackmail.
That's it. Oh my God. So funny. So from that moment on, we were joined at the hip.
I loved it. It was great.
Oh, great. But then since then, like you said, more recently, late spring, early summer, whatever the heck it is, in May, we had a big event at the Ethan Allen Showroom, where you work in New York City in the Flatiron district, with Barbara Viteri, the Designerlebrity. And that was so much fun. And your Ethan Allen team there is really something else, Manuela. I mean, the showroom itself is insanely gorgeous. And really, everybody from the execs all the way through to the interior designers on staff, all the way to the AV people, and everybody is, what a nice environment to work in, I have to say. I mean, it really does seem that way outside looking in anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, we were just so excited to have all of you here and to be able to show our new design center. I mean, it's somewhat new. I mean, it's going to be a year now in August, but we just loved the energy that everybody brought. We loved the feedback that they gave us. And I mean, we just had such a great time talking to you and all the designers. So it was fantastic.
Yes, it was. And if anybody hasn't heard or doesn't know what we're talking about, the audio of it is number 185, our podcast episode 185. But then I also have the full video of it on a Well-Designed Business YouTube channel, where you can see, because Ethan Allen was, Ethan Allen took care of the audio for us, and then Tastefully Inspired, Mark McDonough and Ian Q from House Digital, so generously videotaped it live Facebook feed for us. So that was awesome. So you don't have to feel like you're missing all of that. But anyway, so here we are today, and we're going to talk about, because you have a very interesting career, Manuela, working at Ethan Allen. So, and the thing is, what's interesting to me is it's completely different from what I would have expected an Ethan Allen designer's career to look like. And I don't necessarily mean that disparaging. As a matter of fact, I don't mean it disparaging one bit. You know what I mean? It just looks very different. And I just think that it's pretty remarkable, the opportunities that you are earning, I'm sure of it, but that you are experiencing under the Ethan Allen umbrella. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So, for instance, you and I discussed, you worked for another firm during your years in college at New York School of Interior Design, and for a couple of years after graduation. And then in 2013, you had the opportunity to go to Ethan Allen, and you expressed to me how you researched that a little bit. Tell us about what was the research you did, what were the criteria that you were looking for, and what was your decision process like, thinking about and taking the position at Ethan Allen?
Yeah, sure. Well, before I started with Ethan Allen, I knew of the brand, and when I was with the design firm, we had shopped at Ethan Allen before, but I wasn't really familiar with everything that Ethan Allen could offer. So when I was presented with the opportunity, I did some research just because, like many designers out there, there's this big misconception that, if you work in retail, it's not really design, it's mostly sales. And that's not really it. So, and I was happy to learn that more and more as I did more interview on the company, more research on the company. So, I mean, I started with, I was in Danbury, Connecticut at the time where actually headquarters is located. So I was very close to the actual source. I did, a lot of research on the brand itself, what was happening, within the last few years. And I actually also went online to look at the designers who were working in Danbury. And I mean, people from many different backgrounds, but people who do have the qualification, actual designers. And many of them had been with the company for 12, 13 years. So I think it says a lot about the company.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was intrigued. And then they invited me in for an interview. And I just have to say, like, I was so surprised because their interview process it's actually quite intense. I mean, I had to go through 3 interviews, and then after my 3rd interview, Mr. Kathwari, our CEO, actually has to approve every person before they actually join the company. So my district manager had to basically, give him a recap on, what the interview was like with me and my background and, what I could bring to the company. And then basically he says yes or no. And so I think that says a lot about the brand. They are very selective as, who they bring on board. We do take what we do very seriously. And obviously we love what we do. So
let me ask you something. How do you have a handle on how many designers or employees, how big the company is?
So we actually have 1,500 interior designers, and all over the world. We actually have over 300 design centers all over the world, but 200 of them are here in the United States. We actually have a little over 80 stores in China, believe it or not. Wow. So can you imagine, like, we are shipping American-made products to China.
I love it. How
awesome is that?
That's awesome. Okay, but I asked you that question because you said a lot of things in there that I want to go back and pick apart, but the CEO approves every designer hired and there's 1,500 in the company. That's like now my brain is like, I want to interview him. Like, how does he get anything done in a day? You know what I'm saying?
No, he would be a great person for you to interview for sure.
That's insane. Like, you would think that, I mean, of course, it's striking me so remarkable because at first glance, you're like, that's something you give up long, long, long ago in your day-to-day, to-do list as the CEO when your company is that large. But it really does speak to exactly what you said, the particularness of the quality and the level of person that they are looking to bring into their corporate family. That's remarkable.
Exactly.
Yes. And so, okay, so that's just beyond me. But since you're not him, I won't keep asking you about that. Okay. But it's funny because you described it very nicely. I didn't have the words when I was saying how you think you could think of it as a different way. It's the thinking of the position as a designer there as a salesperson rather than as a designer. And that's the little nudge I was looking for, and I didn't know how to express it. And so that's what I learned. And I felt like, I have to say, I'm not a big... everybody knows I'm not like into the whole like design part of everything. I have my business. I do what I do. It's my thing, but I work with interior designers all day long. I think that they're amazing, and where they source their furniture and they do all that, it's just not my part of the business. Right. But what I'm just trying to say is, outside looking in, I would have had that thought, that I would have thought, well, if you go into any furniture showroom like that, it's not necessarily a high-level skilled designer. It's more somebody that's got some taste and they got a job and, this is a great thing and there's no risk. They don't have to go out on their own and, or a hobby decorator. But that is not what's happening at Ethan Allen, is it?
Not at all.
No, it really isn't. And I'm learning that, not just in this little bit of a conversation so far, but in the experience with coming to your showroom and getting to know you guys. And that's what I thought was interesting and like for people to understand, especially for young designers coming out of school now, right, Manuela? Like to speak to them about the value of thinking about. Now, I have to say, this is probably not the case for every retail furniture manufacturer in America, right? Just because it's true for Ethan Allen doesn't mean it's true for, I don't know, who else is out there, Bassett or Raymore and Flanagan, right? I mean, those are different levels, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you touched on that because, and like when I was doing my research before I joined Ethan Allen, obviously, I saw a lot out there about other companies. And, this is why I chose to work for Ethan Allen because what we do is very, very different than many other stores out there. And like I said, they really value the interior design portion of it. We're an interior design company. We consider ourselves the largest interior design company in the world because of how many interior designers we have under our umbrella. Not just the interior designers that work at the design centers, but we also have a great trade program. So we have many interior designers that are also part of that trade program as well. So again, I was very selective and I picked Ethan Allen for that. And again, they offer so much product versus, many stores will only offer maybe case goods and upholstery versus Ethan Allen. We really do everything from floor to ceiling. So it's, the area rugs, of course, custom upholstery, custom case goods, accessories, lighting. So a client can come to us with an empty apartment. We can furnish the entire apartment and they can just move in.
Nice. So tell me a little bit we're going to talk about this from a couple of different angles. So we will spend some time talking on the trade aspect for the established interior designers who are maybe thinking, never thought about Ethan Allen, I should give it a thought. But for right now, let's restrict ourselves to the interior designers that are maybe just graduating college this year or recent graduates, or maybe they're working in firms and not feeling like there's a place for them to grow and mature as a designer. Talk to me about, I hear clearly that if you have to go through 3 interviews and approved by the CEO, you have to have some chops. But once you're there, Manuela, if you are like you were 2 years into the business, do you also have, should a designer come in and feel like they're going to have your help as a firm round out their experience, round out their expertise, as opposed to coming in fully fledged, grown up, designer, and I don't need any help? What is there sort of not necessarily training because you've come out of college and of course you're not getting hired. I can hear that, but is there a growth and a maturation process that is facilitated through corporate and through your peers?
Absolutely. And we have different levels too. We have design associate, which is for maybe the, recent college graduates who really want to get their foot in the door and learn more about the brand and really be, on the floor working with the designers, picking up on what they do and trying to really, start that process and learning how to engage with the client. We have the actual, interior designers that, work directly with the client and take on their own projects. And then, there's people like me. I'm one of the lead designers here in New York. So, obviously I take on my own projects, but I also work with the 14 other designers that we have here in the design center and help coach them into projects that they're working on. So there are many different levels. If somebody is interested, of course, they should definitely reach out to us. The interview process is intense, it's serious, but it's because we care.
Right. I can hear
because
that.
we really value that. So, but there's actually tons of great training with the company, not only on our product, but on, business practices and such. And, we have in our internal network, we have what's called EATV. And, every week we have webinars and videos of, everything, you name it, from, how something is made to, something that's related to technology or business or something that's trending today. So we do offer that a lot. And the training is not only for the new hires, it's for also, seasoned designers who have been with the company, because, we continue to evolve as a brand. We continue to develop new products. So it's important for us to, all be on the same page.
It sounds really, really exciting, actually. And I think that's cool. I love the idea of the EATV, even when I think about when you said on product knowledge and so forth, because if it's so much more valuable when you suggest a particular product or sofa or lighting or whatever it might be to a client, if you understand and you know why it's good for that client beyond that it looks good. So if you can say, this is how this is made, because I've seen it, I've either, seen the videos or I've been to the factories or whatever it is, but because Ethan Allen as a company invests in teaching that to all of you, I would think that has a great value to you in helping you place the pieces in your clients' spaces.
Absolutely. And I mean, when we're designing a space, whether it's one special piece or an entire house or an entire apartment, we really take a different approach to it. We're not really showing them one specific product because, oh, this looks great. And we don't really, of course, we talk about the design aspect of it, but it really comes down to, how do you live? Will this work for you? Is the depth of this sofa appropriate for, your height and comfort and all of that? So obviously it's more about their lifestyle, and it's really about how people live. It's not, obviously creating a beautiful space is definitely a big priority for us, but we also want our clients to be able to enjoy and make the spaces livable.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's really, it's a lot more than I thought. It's pretty cool. I was impressed already, and now I'm just becoming more impressed as we go through this. So, okay. So what you said in there, though, is for somebody listening, there is this, design assistant, design associate entry level. So if you're not quite seasoned, you can enter the program through that way. Or probably, I'm going to make a guess, you correct me, if I come from this with a 10-year career in interior design, and maybe this is just appealing to me, and I've been working for another firm, or I've been working for my own firm, and I don't feel like doing it having the whole burden anymore. If I've got some experience, can I enter as that interior design level, or do you always have to come through design associate for a certain period of time, prove some chops, and then move up?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, they could, apply for the interior design position, and, start there. It doesn't mean that you have to start through the design associate, but we do encourage, people who are just new to the business, or even if they're not like just recent college graduates. Like, we have many people who actually were in fashion for a while, and then they want to transition into interior design, but they want to take the time to actually get to know more of the interior design part better before, jumping into it full force. So that's why they may want to start with the design associate position. But there's lots of, great opportunities with the company.
Okay. I love it. And so then you, as a lead designer, your day is that you are, as you discuss, responsible for not only your own client base, but for helping the other 14 designers at this location in Flatiron to execute their projects. And what does that look like, Manuela? Do you guys have weekly meetings, daily meetings? How does that look like?
So we have a few meetings every week. Our schedules are very different because many times we're really not in the design center, we're out, but we do try to get together at least 3 times a week just to touch base on, exactly what we're working on. And, so obviously I have my own projects that I'm working on, but I also take the time to work closely with the designers that are here on my team, because I want them to succeed as well. And their success also means my success, and it means a success for the company.
Okay.
So I'm fortunate enough to have another lead designer here on the team, Robert Nelson. So him and I work together with all the designers here. And since we all have different schedules, we sort of like split the team. But, we're always collaborating and working with each other on, different projects. I may go to Robert or I may go to another designer on the team and just get their feedback on something that I'm working on. I just feel like it's always I always get best results that way. And, it totally creates a different energy too here in the design center because, it's not competitive. Like no one's trying to be better than the other person. We all work for the same company. We all have the same goal. So if we work together, I think we can achieve that much easier and much faster than if we were on our own.
I like that. And that brings up something that I did want to talk about. How, when you think about there you are in the middle of New York City there. It's a very, very big showroom. I'm sure the foot traffic coming in is incredible. How do you even manage as a company the clients that come in, and is there a rotating turn, and like how does that happen? And I'm sure you have situations where you might meet somebody and out in the world, and then you suggest that they come into the showroom, and that would be your client, I guess. But when all those just strangers walk through the door and say, "Hi, I need furniture," how do you manage that?
Everybody gets a turn. Everybody has their own time, like on, the schedule, and everybody gets to see people. The good thing about New York City is that we have so much foot traffic coming into the door. So
it's nothing that you're worried about. It's like, if I don't get this one, I'm getting the next one.
Not at all, not at all. And also, we've each built our own business as well. So, many of us who have been with the company longer, have clients that we've worked with for many years. And we continue to work with them because you may finish one project now, and then 6 months you're working on another project, and then another 6 months you're working on a nursery, and then another 6 months you're working with their friend. So there's a lot too that happens with that. I'm actually not even in the design center as much because I'm out on home calls quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I'm out on installations. We're each so very involved, so we're not all here in the showroom mm-hmm. all the time, the 14 of us, but which sometimes gets a little chaotic because obviously we do have a lot of people coming through the doors, and we want to make sure that everybody who comes in does have a great experience here at the design center. So they keep us busy.
Okay. And it's funny too, because I did want to ask you about that. What I thought was interesting is that it really seems like if I just Google your name, your own personal website comes up. It comes up ManuellaMoreira.com. And then within it is all the features of Ethan Allen. So once I get there, it's clear to me that you're an Ethan Allen designer, but it doesn't seem like it. In other words, it seems as though Ethan Allen is very happy to have you promote yourself as an interior designer, and there's no moonlighting and no working on the side and all of that stuff. They really are. We haven't even gotten to all of the TV appearances that they've put you on and all of the videos that you've made, but there's no let's hold her back, she's our girl. It's like, let's put her out there for the world, which obviously I understand from a marketing standpoint that that's a great thing, but there's a lot of companies that don't get the big picture from a marketing standpoint. How is that? Can you actually have a client on the side, or there's just no need for you to do it? How does that work?
Well, we can't. I work for them and for Ethan Allen only. But on the other hand is I don't even have the time to take on another project, even if I, could, just because, and to be honest with you, many times I work 7 days a week and my days are 12-hour days. Yeah. To me, it's not a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 6 or whenever the design center is open or not. It's nonstop. And with our clients and with interior design, and I'm sure the same with you, is like, my clients work during the week.
Right.
They work during the day. So I may not be able to see them on a Monday at 12 o'clock. So I may have to meet them on a Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning or on a Sunday. So, we try to be very flexible with that. And so, it's never just,
it's not the retail
hours.
hours, right? It's like you're building a business within a business. It sounds like, even though you're loyal to them and the product is loyal to them, you really are running it and handling it as if it were your own interior design firm. Like your principles and your ethics connected to it are the same as if you were a designer on your own and just said, look, the client needs to see me then, that's when I'm going to go, as opposed to the company man who says, I'm sorry, I don't work on Saturday.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's exactly it. Like, I feel like I run my interior design business under the Ethan Allen umbrella. And the reason, like, going back to the website, is the website was actually something that I created on my own. I mean, I'm always trying to figure out ways on, how do I stand out and how can I make a difference and how do I promote myself as a designer, again, not just as a salesperson, because again, there is that big misconception that people think of us as salespeople.
Right.
So, I obviously have a house page, Instagram, and all of that, but I wanted to have a page where I could invite my, new potential clients to go and learn a little bit more about me. So instead of sending them to House where they would have access to thousands of other designers, I said, well, you can go on to manuellamoreira.com and actually see everything about me and what I can do for you.
And I love that. That's smart marketing on your part. Is that common throughout the company now, or is it as each designer feels their desire to do it or not to do it?
Yeah, each designer, they have a different approach to different things. So, some people have asked me about what I did, and I try to coach them, on how to create that for themselves. And it's something that continues to evolve, and I'm working with the team here and trying to, market themselves in many different ways. But it's something that I think I was the first one to do it. Maybe some other people have, but I just thought it was a great way to be able to show more of me, of who I am, and of course, Ethan Allen as well.
Well, I think that it is pretty brilliant on your part. And I think that there's no question that your instinct was right to do it. There's no question that it does do exactly what you intended to do to set you apart, not just as the Manuela, who's a salesperson in a furniture showroom. It really does establish you as a qualified interior designer. But what I really am remarking on is how a big company, I could almost see a big company like just totally checking you and slapping you on the wrist and say, you don't do that. You don't put your name out there first and then our name second. And I'm just really patting them on the back for recognizing the more prestige and the more you're known as a, qualified expert interior designer, the more it reflects on them. And exactly what happened with me. The more I looked into you, the more I was like, wow, this company's pretty good. So your idea was brilliant, and they're pretty brilliant for not checking you on it. So.
Yeah. No, they've been really, really good to me. It's been a great journey so far. That they've really given me the freedom to be creative. I'm always one to be coming up with like crazy ideas, and I'm not afraid to share them.
Well, the Designerlebrity event was one right there. Let's go there.
So yeah, I'm
going to bring a podcaster in. I'm going to bring Barbara Viteri, the creative. How about Mikhail? We're going to just like this thing. We're going to fill the showroom with 80 people. You're going to what?
That was exactly the reaction. Like, I approached our regional VP and I was like, this is what we're thinking of doing. And she's like, wait, can you tell me that again? Yeah. And then I told her about you and about Barbara, and then I got them on board, and I was like, let's just do it. And it all happened so fast.
And we probably had 80, 90 people in their showroom. You know what I mean?
We did. Yeah.
I mean, they did a great party. They were so gracious and just outfitting the food and the drink and everything. But at the bottom line is we did our end too. Me, you, and Barbara. We pulled those people in, and look what it's happened. That was one of the first steps for me to really go, what's happening here at Ethan Allen? And so it worked on both sides. We all benefited, but it really did express and highlight not only the technical beauty of the showroom, but also the features and the humanity of the company, truly. I don't know how else to describe it other than humanity, because that's exactly the impression I got. And it's funny, and they're not competitors because it's completely Cravitus trade facing only, where Ethan Allen is both way. But it reminded me of the experience of working with Cravitt. Very human, very caring, very one-to-one, very like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's try it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so I was very impressed. So tell us about, what is the actual reality? I understand you said to us that you could do everything from floor to ceiling with Ethan Allen, but that must be actually a criteria. When you're out in someone's home in the New York metro area and you're designing for them, you're only sourcing from Ethan Allen. I hear that you don't feel limited, but it's not like, well, and this great thing from something else would be perfect here. Am I assuming correctly?
Well, we are only sourcing from Ethan Allen.
Right.
However, if the client already has something existing in their home, of course, we do want to see it because it's important for their new Ethan Allen piece to relate to what they already have.
Right.
So,
but like a counterpart interior designer that is working on her own, she could source from 5 or 6 different places you're sourcing. I don't mean to say that I think it's limited. I'm just establishing for clarity. You're sourcing strictly from your Ethan Allen product.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I mean, just, with case goods and upholstery, there is so much customization, and we continue to change the program, every single day, and introduce new product every single season. So there's always something fresh for us to work with. And we have, like, there's a chair, for example, which we feature in one of our muse books. The chair had a different fabric and a different finish. Actually, it was designed in 6 different ways. And we did that to show our clients, how custom and how different we can really be, even though you're just looking at that one particular chair frame.
Right.
You can go from the traditional to the transitional to the modern to the contemporary. And obviously, we continue to evolve as a brand. Now that we do have 2 locations in New York City, we're really focusing on, what does New York City want and what can we do to, get that to them.
And you mentioned to me off air, and this is a good place to bring it in, is that Ethan Allen actually designs 70% of the products that they have available for sale. Like your own in-house designers are designing. Is it all product lines, lighting, every category, or is it only certain categories?
No, it's everything.
Whoa.
When it comes to bedding, upholstery, case goods, lighting, accessories. Yes. So we have 9 manufacturing plants. 7 of them are actually here in the United States. And one of the reasons why we have EATV is to really have that connection with the designers who design our pieces to the designers who are out in the design centers working directly with the customer, so we can get that message across, because there's so much that goes into actually designing one specific piece. Like an example, we have the person who handles our lighting and accessories for us, Jonathan Parks. In Danbury, I used to hear his stories all the time, and he's just amazing. The stories that he would tell us, he'd be like, yes, I was in Thailand and I saw somebody with this beautiful basket on the back of her bicycle, and I chased her down and I said, I want to buy that basket. Do you have any more of it? And he actually bought all of the baskets that she had. And of course, we brought them here, and, we turned it into a lamp. So, there is really so much, there's a lot that goes into designing one piece. And we are actually working on being able to show that much more on our website as well, so that our customers can learn a little more about that too, if they're first shopping online and not directly working with a designer in the design center.
Right. That's pretty remarkable. That's amazing. And so the thing is, what I'm hearing in there too is that for you as designers, because you are also your backup company, your team behind you, is product designers, you can stay on trend. And for, look, we always need to be classic, but you also need to be on trend, right? That things, nail heads are in, nail heads are out, whatever it is. You can't be like, well, that's great because the whole world switched to nail heads on sofas and we only have a source that doesn't have it. So you have input as to what's going on and what your clients and your demographic is looking for. And then you can work with the product designers to make these things happen?
Yeah. So, when I was in Danbury, I was fortunate enough to actually meet, the entire team, and actually they would often, bring a group of designers in and ask for their feedback and, show them a prototype and say, this is what we're thinking of doing. Do you think this finish will do well? Do you think the scale of this piece will do well? How do you think the customers will respond to this color? When they would introduce new fabrics, they would, show us the fabrics first and say, what do you think of these fabrics? Do you think it will go well in the homes that you're designing today? So it's great that they, get us so involved because, of course, we are working directly with the client. So they're, the clients are asking us specific questions. They're asking us for specific products. So we want to be able to make sure that we deliver them. And of course, there's, timing is it's tricky because there's a lot that goes into manufacturing a product. Of course, when we make something, it has to go through several tests before we can actually, bring it onto our collection. And we, of course, want to make sure that we do stay on trend. So obviously a lot of research goes on to, what are the colors that are going to be in the winter, and what are we going to have to prepare ourselves with in order to be relevant.
Right. You have to, you can't design. Well, like you're saying, there's a time lapse from the time that you're sitting there in your little beta group of all your designers and giving feedback till it's actually out to market. So you can't be designing in the moment. You have to design for the future too.
Exactly.
But it's nice that you get to do that. And I think that it's terrific that they have their own little beta think tank there of what's happening.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Okay. So now tell us a little bit about the trade program for the designers listening who maybe this is new information or they were aware that it was there but don't know the details. How does that work and what does that look like, Manuela?
So we actually have two different programs. The first program, which we've started with a while ago, the designer can just fill out the application, which can be found on ethanallen.com. At the very bottom of the page, you'll see trade program. They actually get a commission from whatever they present to their clients, and their clients, after the clients get delivery of the product, then they get a commission. The percentage of the commission can vary depending on how much Ethan Allen product you're actually selling within that one fiscal year. Okay. So, of course, the more you sell, the more you'll get compensated for it. So the application can be found online. They could send it directly to me, or they could send it directly to the email that's online, and, we can definitely get it processed. But we've also heard, since opening Flatiron here in New York, we do have another location on 60th and 3rd as well. But since opening Flatiron, of course, we're trying to, work more and more with designers and trying to learn what they want as well. And we've gotten some feedback, and we're trying out a second program, which is the designer can pass on a discount of 25% off on everything in the store to their clients. So, and we've gotten great feedback on that program. And of course, we're always looking for more feedback, and, we're trying to tailor it, to something that works for them, because we do value the business that they bring in the door. But that second program is actually only available in New York City. So but even if you're a designer, if you're listening but you're working on a specific project here in the city, you can definitely apply for that program as well. And we've done very well with it. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually launch it nationwide very, very soon. But that's to come.
So I'm not understanding the distinction on the second program. So I'm not understanding the distinction. So the product is not sold. When you do the trade program, does the designer make the purchase under his or her credit card or checkbook, or does the client make the purchase? How does that work?
It's under the client's name, but we do give the designer the credit. They get with a trade number basically that we attach to that client's order.
Right.
So that when the order is completed and delivered, then the designer will get the credit for it.
Okay. And so that 20% that you're saying, it sounds like you were getting feedback that designers wanted to be able to extend a 20% discount to their clients when they ordered Ethan Allen product.
25% off.
25%.
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And so what happens in there? So okay, I'm a designer. I come in with my client, Sally Smith. We work with you. We look at everything, and we purchase a sofa, a rug, 2 tables, a chair and a lamp. And it comes to, I don't know, $15,000. The client gets 25% off. And then what happens? Do I get any commission in addition to that, or I just get I don't get it. I don't see where I'm making.
So in one program, the first program, the designer gets the commission, and then their client will just take advantage of what sale we're having that month, which is usually not 25%.
Okay.
It's less than that. The second program, it's the discount only. So because many clients come in and they're like, well, I don't really care about the commission part because, I get paid either hourly or by the product anyways that they're charging their client on their own. So they would rather be able to pass on a discount to them, which is a benefit of, their client working with, another interior designer and be able to get that additional discount.
Now I get it. Okay. So the designer is making their money a different way, but there's a little caveat there for the client to shop with the designer and pay the designer her hourly or his hourly fee to, okay, understood. Awesome. I love it. I'm like, how do we make money on this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All righty. So that's interesting. And of course, there's, as you said, there's 300 Ethan Allen locations all around the world, 200 in the U.S., because of course the podcast is going to 120 countries. So who knows where somebody's listening. And then of course, I imagine there's a whole online scenario for Ethan Allen as well, right?
Oh, yes. And if you actually go on ethanallen.com, you will get a new window that will pop up that will ask you if you'd like to chat with a designer. And we don't have robots. We don't have just, somebody in customer service somewhere in the world. We actually have real designers. I actually log on many times a day and I chat with people all over the country.
Oh my goodness.
People who are interested, I've actually been on a chat with a customer for an hour and 45 minutes. And I said to her, I was like, do you want me to just call you so we can talk about this? She's like, no, I'm actually in the middle of cooking dinner. So I'd rather just chat with you online. I said,
my
no problem.
goodness. The patience of a saint, Manuela. I'd be like, lady, answer me.
Yes.
Where are you? What happened? You're stirring your spaghetti. I'm sitting here. I got work to do.
And that's exactly it. I would send her a message and then she wouldn't respond for like 3 minutes. And I'd be like,
3 minutes, it feels like an hour and a half, right? You're staring at the little thing, but beeping. It's like
yeah, but no, what's really cool about that feature is, one, I get to connect with customers all over the country. Two is, there's obviously as technology evolves, we of course have to keep up with it, and many people are going online to at least start the design process.
Right.
So,
to gather their information, right?
Exactly. And many people, may consider visiting a design center, but they may not really feel so comfortable expressing, what they're working on. So many of them actually feel much more comfortable just chatting with a person online and saying, like, this is what I'm working with. What's your feedback on it? So that they share photos with us of what they currently have. And then we go back and forth and send floor plans and ideas. And many times it turns into an entire project.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Like, I mean, I understand the value of it. I do, because that first impression, like you said, so many, whatever business, every single business, usually the point of entry is some sort of fact-finding mission, whether it's online, it's talking to other people that have used that company or that business. And it is, most of us as consumers want that non-confrontational, non-committed sort of way to figure out if this is a place I can do business with. And so it is very important that the people on the other end of that chat be knowledgeable, educated designers, because that is probably very often the first impression that somebody's getting of Ethan Allen. And if it is a positive experience, then for many of those people, I'm sure it translates to, okay, I'll come into the showroom next week. Even if you're talking to them from New York, but they're in Ohio, maybe they go into the Ohio showroom, but it happens because as an Ethan Allen designer representative, you made a good impression. But patience of a saint to do it. There's no way. There's not a chance. I would be like, no, you don't want me on this front line, because no one will come in.
Yeah, no, it's very, very interesting, because I mean, sometimes like you see the 3 little dots on the screen, but those dots are there, and then you're thinking that they're writing like this whole book, right? But they just left their mouse over the chat box.
No, I would be like, lady, where are you? I'd be screaming through the chat. What happened? I got people on the floor.
But to add to that, LuAnn, I mean, this has been so great for us because, I mean, as you said, like if I'm chatting with somebody in California, I will connect them, with a designer in California if they do need additional assistance. Or we've done a lot via Skype, via email, FaceTime. But another thing too is some of these calls, because we have interior designers logged on throughout the country, what we first try to do is we filter these chats. So for example, if somebody in New York wants to chat with somebody, they will first try to connect that customer with somebody in New York or Connecticut or close to that area.
Right. So if it is going to turn into something, at least it's something that designer, after they've invested those, minutes or hours with that client through the chat, they can realize a new relationship at least.
Exactly. And many times they come into the design center, or we schedule an appointment for us to go out to their home and start that next phase of actually, talking about specific pieces and making recommendations. But, it's really interesting of like how much you can actually start just online. Yeah.
And your design process is complementary to the end consumer, isn't it?
Exactly, yes. So it's complementary with a purchase. So we obviously get to know the client, get to understand what they're working on. We talk about, specific Ethan Allen products that they may be interested in. And, it always starts with a conversation because it's never just about that one pillow or that one accessory or that one chair. There's always so much more to it, whether it's here at Ethan Allen or if you're out on your own doing interior design on your own. It's never about one piece. It's
that's the whole thing about it. One thing always leads to another.
Exactly.
I mean, I was just at a new client's the other night here in town, and I walked in the house. The outside of the house was a beautiful home, but it looked like it was probably about 110 years old. And I walked through the door, and it was almost like a movie set because everything on the inside was brand new. I was like, whoa, what just happened? It was almost like a Twilight Zone thing. I'm looking outside, looking inside. And they had taken this really this home, actually, she ended up telling me the history of it. It actually had been the rectory for one of the Catholic parishes in town here, and from many years ago. And so imagine outside, brick, Georgian, colonial, beautiful, traditional home, and inside, walls open, hardwood floors, grays and, beiges and ivories. It was amazing. And I was just like, and so I said to her, I said, oh my goodness, this is incredible. And she said, yeah. She goes, we started a year ago with redoing the kitchen.
And it will never end with just that.
I was like, oh, you had a good idea, didn't you?
Yeah.
Literally redid all the sheetrock, all the moldings, took walls down. I mean, it's amazing, but it was. She just said, well, then that became that, and this became that, and this became that. So it's a good lesson to remember that little chat that starts, and that's a good lesson for every designer listening. That inquiry that comes into your firm that starts with a little chat that I might need to do my living room, and I have furniture and I just want to add some things to it or reconfigure it. You never know where it could lead, if that's your business model, to do that level work and to do that style, that demographic of work. But it is exactly what happens. You build the relationship, you have the conversation, you build the trust, you build the camaraderie between the two of you. The potential client understands your aesthetic, you understand theirs, and it becomes a relationship, probably, and can be often for many, many years. Like you said, you're a little baby designer. What are you doing this 5 years? And you already have repeat customers.
Yeah, but that's what I love about it. It's like you build that relationship with your clients. They actually become your friends, and you work with them for years, on different projects. And then by the time you're done with the room that they think is last, and then they're like, well, what if we try to change this in the other room? So it's never ending. I mean, and that's what I love about it.
Well, and it's funny because you're already experiencing it in your only 5-6 year career, whatever it is. And I'll share with you that this summer, I am busy working with one of my clients that I've worked with many, many times over the years, that when I first met her, my daughter, who is now 28 years old and pregnant with her first baby, she was about 3 months old. And when I met this client, she was pregnant with her daughter, who's getting married in July. And we are now running through the house, ripping through it, going, okay, fix that, do that, get this ready, get the outdoor ready, new awnings, new outdoor cushions. And we've done 2 or 3 places in Manhattan. We've done her kids' homes. We've done her vacation homes. We've done and redone the window treatments and the carpet in her primary home. And it is exactly that. It's when I go there, and it's so funny because everybody in my office knows when many clients, but this one in particular for certain, if she'll call and say, oh, tell Lou to come over, I just need a new shade in one of the guest bedrooms. And if somebody new is working for me and they make the appointment, they'll put it in for 45 minutes. I'm like, no, I'm going to need 2 hours for that one. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it'll be an hour and a half of just catching up and talking, and then 15 minutes to do the window treatment.
No, but that's exactly true. Like I had clients who called me in January, and I had worked with them in the past, and they're like, yeah, we're thinking of maybe, just doing a chair in the family room. And I ended up staying there for 5 hours. I mean, a lot of it we were talking, we went through the entire house making a list. And, to this day, we're still working on things that we had talked about before and like continuing to add to the list. So yeah,
it's great. You're building relationships. It's terrific. And I love the video on your website. And everybody listening, do yourself a favor. Go to Manuela's website. Manuela, you'll spell it for us in a moment. But there's one video there. There's a dozen there, and you're adorable. And I think it's hysterical watching the early ones, and you've grown so much. It's only in 4 or 5 years, but you're just like, I'm like, oh my God, she's like a real baby in this one. But the one video where it's the 2 clients talking about how she wanted a more, dressy, formal living room, and he wanted it to be comfortable. And it was a big, huge room, and you ended up creating 2 seating areas. And he's like, I never would have thought of that, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, it's hysterical because you're so adorable. They say, she's become my friend. Manuela's become our friend, and we really trust her, and all this other stuff. And the woman says, I would trust her with my children. And then the camera switches to you, and you're like, I don't think I would trust me with your children.
And I can tell you, that was so real. Like
adorable.
They were interviewing me, and they asked, they said, Janice said that she would trust you with her kids, and that just
popped out. It's very sweet, and it's very real, and it's very you. And so I think it's awesome. And in your short career here, you've already earned several awards. You've gotten the Rising Star Award, the Gold Spirit Award, Design Excellence Award. And before I let you go, also named top 20 interior designers by New York by LuxPad in New York, I mean. It seems to me, again, that's, look, I know that it benefits Ethan Allen when you gain notoriety and you gain status in the field and you earn recognition in the field by our peers. I know that. But the thing is, again, I'm just remarking how they really seem to embrace it and push it forward and understand that it is not like, I almost, there could be companies out there be like, oh my goodness, she's getting a little too big for her britches and somebody's going to steal her away. And, this is more about her and not about us. But they really seem to get that you are always an ambassador for Ethan Allen, and that everything that good that happens and you create reflects on them and vice versa. I mean, am I reading that wrong? But that's how it feels to me.
No, definitely. And I have to say, I mean, I've been very, very fortunate and very grateful because everybody in the company, I mean, they've been so generous, and for them to really give me the freedom to be creative and to actually go on with these crazy ideas that I come up with is great, and they support me 100% on it. And so I've been very happy here. At the same time, I try to bring something new to the brand, something new to our design team, because obviously, we want to continue to evolve, we want to continue to grow, and we want to continue to succeed. But one thing that you said, which is, a word that we use all the time, is like, we really are ambassadors for the company. And, for me, how I represent myself here in the design center is no different than when I'm out just with my friends. Like, I think I promote myself with Ethan Allen so much, and I actually saw a friend that I hadn't seen in forever, but we had connected through Facebook. And so we saw each other at an event, and he comes running up to me and he's like, hey, Manuella, you're at Ethan Allen, right? Not like, hey, Manuella, how are you? Like, so.
No, it's true. You are an ideal ambassador for them because you're smart, you're genuine, you're talented, and you get the big picture. And I think that it's really terrific. And I'm so excited for you. I just think that you're building a terrific career there, and I'm so happy for you that it's pretty clear to me that they recognize that they have what they have in you, and so that's to me is why I think that they. When you do come up with these ideas, they're letting you help push them into a new direction, as opposed to saying, we don't do things like that here. That's an awesome company, an awesome company that says, huh? Oh, okay. All right. Well, what? I think it's great. Anything new coming up that you are now involved in, or they're pushing, or you're pushing, or what's on the horizon for Ethan Allen?
Yes. Well, I can't share too much, but we actually just recently partnered with Amazon. So, I mean,
what does that mean exactly?
I know, it's huge. I mean, as you know, most people first go online to start that shopping experience. This is why we added the live chat feature to our website, so that people could have more of an authentic connection with a designer. And, we've had some partnerships in the past before. One last year was with Disney. And then our CEO actually approached, we talked with Amazon about doing this collaboration. And actually, we're going to have almost like a virtual store within Amazon, which is available to millions and millions of people. Wow. So for us, it's huge. I'm very excited and happy that I will be part of a small test group, and I will be actually one of the designers that will actually be chatting with customers on Amazon. So, it's actually set to launch very, very soon.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't share too much just yet because, of course, we're still tweaking things and introducing new things. But I think it's great for us. Yeah.
Wow. Stay tuned for details, basically, right?
Yes.
Very exciting, Manuella. I'm so happy for you. I just really, I have to say, I thank you personally. I know for a fact that you are one of the early supporters of this podcast, and that you are one of the people that from the beginning was listening and helping me and tweaking and commenting and forming what I was doing. And I value you for that. But I'm really so grateful that we've come to know each other too. And I'm so happy to know about your career and to know that you're just pretty darn brilliant there is what I'm thinking. You're a pretty young lady there to have so much going on, and you have a lot of ideas, and I love that you speak up, and I love that you're smart about it, even from researching the company before you went to it, and you're just not afraid to go in a different direction and to look at this big, huge, many, many, many year company and say, come on, let's go this way. So
right.
Awesome. It's so awesome. Tell everybody how they would, spell your name so they can get to your website. Tell them how they reach you through Ethan Allen if they want to do a trade account. And let me just clarify. If somebody is listening in the New York area, they would contact you for a trade account. But if they're listening in anywhere else, they would go through the website. Clarify that for us.
They could go through the website, or they can still send it to me directly because I have direct contact with the person who actually handles all of our trade accounts.
Okay.
I could still send it over to them. So whatever works best for them, I'm happy to help as well, even if they're not in New York.
Okay.
But my email is manuella.moreira@ethanallen.com, and it's manuella.moreira@ethanallen.com. They connect with me through there. My Instagram is at mgmdecor. I think Instagram is one of my favorite platforms because you get to be, a little more creative with photos and videos and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then your website is manuellamoreira.com. That's like a mouthful for me. You know that.
You're doing great, though. That's great.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, man. Well, I tell you, I love talking with you. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. And please say hello to all of my new friends at Ethan Allen and thank them for letting you take an hour out of your day to come spend it with us, okay?
Definitely will. Thank you so much, LuAnn, for your time, for allowing me to share a bit more about me and Ethan Allen, and maybe we should plan another event soon.
I know. I think we got to do it, lady.
All right.
Okay,
great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm so proud to tell you that our podcast is sponsored by Cravat Inc., featuring CuratedCravat.com. You know, because I've told you a million times, that I've been a Cravat customer since the early 1980s. And the truth is, I can't say enough great things about Cravat Inc., except to tell you that now there's CuratedCravat.com. At CuratedCravat.com, they work so hard to source high-quality items for you and for your clients. And they really do make it very easy to find that unique piece to complete your interior design project. Do you know what a couple of my favorite parts are? First, it's trade only. That's right, they have your back at Cravat Inc. Second, they have no minimums. Isn't that awesome? And third, the ordering process is a snap. Design, click, delivered. It's so easy. You need to visit CuratedCravat.com today and be sure to use your discount code CKPodcast. You get to use that code for one order and you will get 10% off that entire order. CK Podcast at CuratedCravat.com. Okay, so you know I have a special soft spot for Manuella. It's pretty clear, I know. But can you blame me? Manuella, in addition to being a talented interior designer, is a focused businesswoman. She has taken her career very seriously from the outset. First, she spends a couple of years working for a successful interior design firm, rounding out her education. Next, when the Ethan Allen opportunity comes along, she does her research. What kind of company are they? What level designers work for them? How many years are the designers generally at the company? And then when she is in the position, she knows she has to promote herself and put herself out there professionally. And what happens from that? It gets noticed by Ethan Allen, and they tap her to be the face of Ethan Allen in many of their videos and the TV spots on the local station nearby the headquarters in Connecticut. And let's not forget the event at Ethan Allen last May 2017 that we did together, Ethan Allen, Designerlebrity, and A Well-Designed Business. That was Manuella who explained the shenanigans, let's be real, that Barbara Viteri and I were cooking up to the Ethan Allen team. And you know what? They trusted her and they went with it. And like I said during the program, we had some 80 designers and consumers attend this event. So was it worth it for Ethan Allen? I think so. And I'm going to repeat again. The experience that I had at being at their showroom at 915 Broadway in New York City, seeing it, interacting with their team, well, I'm telling you, they earned my respect. It's a well-run company. And unfortunately, I'm not necessarily their target client, but all of the designers and the other consumers that attended that night, well, they are. So they had a room full of people that could potentially be their target market. And that's all thanks to Manuella and her go-get-it-done attitude, which I love. So the bottom line is, if you are either a new design grad and you're looking for a place to land, or if you might be at the other end of your career, done with carrying the full load and being the rainmaker and running a design firm, but would still like to work with a talented team of designers, not furniture people, like Manuella described, then you might think about Ethan Allen. Don't forget, though, that you have to get through 2 interviews plus the final okay by the CEO, Mr. Kathwari. So, I don't know, that might not be so easy. Anyway, of course, don't forget to go and open up your trade account with Ethan Allen and see how they can be a partner with you in your next interior design project. Alrighty, thanks tons for joining me. Remember, questions to me should be sent to questions@windowworksnj.com. And remember to visit our website at www.windowworks-nj.com. You can go over to our trade tab and check out the blog post there. We feature topics designed to help you run your business. If you want to be on our email list for all news related to the places that I'll be and things that we're doing, then all you have to do is text these numbers, 444-999. Just text 444-999. And in the field, type the word Design Biz. DESIGNBIZ. No spaces, no caps. So that's 444-999 Design Biz. And if you're going to Las Vegas Market, please come out and see me and Kelly Ellis on Tuesday, August 1st from 2 o'clock to 4 p.m. at the Kravitz Showroom. Design Uncorked. Learn how to grow your interior design from firm to empire. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an excellent day. Thank you for joining me again today for another episode of A Well-Designed Business. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks in Livingston, New Jersey, your trade resource for custom window treatments and awnings. Learn more about WindowWorks at www.windowworks-nj.com. All of our music is original music by Room 2 Productions. Please contact us if you want to learn more about original music for your business or your events.